Well, it's great to see such a big crowd here tonight. Good evening. I'm Bill Maley, Brighton Town Supervisor. It's wonderful to have you all here. I know that many of you are here for a proclamation, and we will be getting to that shortly. We will also be beginning the open forum portion of our meeting actually right after we do the proclamation. The open forum is the opportunity for members of the public to share their comments or questions or concerns with the town board. Now, for those of you that are watching us remotely on our cable access channel or on our YouTube feed, you will have to join us in the Zoom format if you want to participate in the open forum remotely or in the public hearing that we will be holding tonight concerning the removal of certain town trees. If that's something you want to do, there are detailed instructions for doing that right on the Town of Brighton webpage. I'm not going to go around the room and introduce everybody tonight, but I am going to introduce one new person, although he has been at our meetings before, but I am very pleased to be able to welcome and congratulate our new Commissioner of Public Works and Highway Superintendent, Everett Garcia. Everett, Everett's not a stranger to these meetings, but it's great to have you. I see we don't have your new nameplate yet. Don't believe that town engineer stuff. He is the Commissioner of Public Works and Highway Superintendent. We also continue to make our meetings accessible to the deaf and hard of hearing community with our ASL interpreters, Allie and Heather. Allie and Heather, thank you both for being here tonight and all of the evenings that you join us. As a reminder, the agenda for tonight's meeting is on the back table. All of the materials that we will be using in making any decisions tonight are back there on the back table as well, and they are all available on the town webpage, www.townofbrighton.org. We'll start the meeting tonight with the pledge to the flag. I'll ask Councilmember Werner if you would lead us. No, let me change that. Councilmember Wilt, if you would lead us on April 12th. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And yes, happy birthday, Robin.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we got a lot to celebrate tonight, but we are next going to go to our proclamation, and I'm going to ask Assembly Member Sarah Clark to join me at the podium, and I would also like our special guest and Brighton resident, Maria Fisher, to please join me at the podium. National Donate Life Month is observed in April of each year. Donate Life Month is a time to remind all of us of the life-saving significance of making the decision to become an organ donor. For Maria Fisher, the decision to become an organ donor was a very personal one, and for that reason, Assemblymember Clark and I are very pleased to present proclamations tonight from the town of Brighton and from the New York State Assembly to Maria Fisher. We'll present those proclamations, and then I will invite Maria to talk about her story and why this month is so important to her. Sarah, your proclamation is heavier than mine, so why don't I let you make your presentation first. Assemblymember Sarah Clark.
Wonderful. Thank you, Town Supervisor Maley. And thank you all for welcoming me here to your town board meeting with my daughter, who, you know, we just can never get a little exposure to government early enough to understand how it all works. You know, April is Donate Life Month. I have to say, as someone who has 3 children, someone who enjoys a good cry, there are so many stories on our news, on many of our programmings during this month that really celebrate what donating organs does in terms of how it saves a life. And it also does so much to really honor how even in death, there can be so much beauty, and there can be so much, although it's painful for one family, is often the life-saving difference for many more who are impacted by when you donate. And as a mother of 2 teenagers who have recently signed up for their driver's license and their permit, both who are organ donors, as am I myself, doing what we can to encourage more people to understand it. I had conversations with both my boys while we were doing it. They asked why. You know, oftentimes it's just a matter of not understanding and not knowing what it means. But when you get the letter of confirmation saying that you are on the organ donating list, it means a lot to my kids. It meant a lot to me. So I'm so excited to be here, though, because as much as we talk about donation at the end of life, we very rarely get to see people who sacrifice during their life, who are willing to give up an organ to someone, to a stranger at the time, because they care so much, because they want to make a difference, because they want to have an impact on someone's life. It is so rare. And so Maria, getting to stand up here with you and celebrate this important month and do what we can, you continue your work to make this more known, it's just really special. So I wanted to make sure I joined the town of Brighton with my own New York State Assembly proclamation in recognition of National Donate Life Month, to understand the impact you've made on not only a person whose life has been changed forever, but the work you do every day that makes more people sign up, that gets more people involved, and will save lives all the time. Very few people do that. I'm honored to be with you today as we proclaim this month National Donate Life Month, and make sure that the Finger Lakes Donor Recovery Network is honored as well. In your memory, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sarah. This really is a very special evening, and Maria is a very special person and friend. Sarah, you talked about tears, and this Maria's story, Maria's gift, is really a gift that as you hear about it, and for those of us that are fortunate enough to know you, Maria, and call you friend, this is a story that it's okay if you pull out the hankies tonight. Whereas more than 400,000 Americans are alive today because of the great generosity and courage of organ donors, and whereas just one person can save up to 8 lives through organ donation after they die, and improve another 75 lives through eye and tissue donation, and extraordinarily, there are also living organ donors who agree to undergo medical procedures necessary to save the life of another. Whereas April is designated as National Donate Life Month to raise awareness of the life-saving impact of organ, eye, and tissue donors, and to honor those who have saved lives through the gift of donation. And whereas last year in this country, doctors completed the 1 millionth transplant surgery, and as more skill and new tools are developed, more transplants are performed and recipients live longer. But the need for donations remains, with more than 100,000 people, including 1,900 children, on the organ donation waiting list. And whereas locally, Brighton resident Maria Fisher chose to donate one of her kidneys to a man she had never met, whose family she did not know. And on July 25th, 2018, she committed this profoundly courageous act of connection and healing. Whereas growing up in a family who was rescued by American soldiers from a Nazi slave labor camp and welcomed to the United States as refugees, Maria Fisher's grandmother would remind her about how the generosity and the compassion of the American people made her life possible. Whereas it was in this spirit of love and giving, of altruism and determination, that Maria herself took the tremendous step of literally giving a piece of herself, her kidney, to a stranger in need so that he too could benefit from this life-saving act of freeing her family from the Nazis, the horror of Nazi atrocities. Now therefore be it proclaimed that I, William W. Maley, Brighton Town Supervisor, and the members of our council do hereby declare the month of April as National Donate Life Month and declare April 12, 2023 as Maria Fisher Day in the town of Brighton. We applaud her donation and encourage everyone 16 years and older to celebrate National Donate Life Month by registering at donatelife.ny.gov or marking your driver's license as a donor so you can be the one that saves 8 other lives. Signed this 12th day of April 2023 by myself and by my colleagues on the Brighton Town Board. Maria. I think it's okay if you want to get further around, even if you're in the line of sight there. Everybody got it? Thank you so much.
Thank you. Can I say a few words?
Absolutely.
I just want to thank everyone. I had to say a few words. Thank you to my dear friend, Supervisor Bill Maley, to my dear friend, Assemblymember Sarah Clark, to my dear friends on the board for this recognition. I'm so proud and humbled to be standing here representing organ donors, and I am a proud Brighton resident. I'm so happy my family is here today, as Bill Maley had mentioned, including my aunt, Tamara Denisenko. If you don't know her, she should. She's pretty amazing. As he said, my family came to this country as Ukrainian refugees, having fled Nazis, and I was often reminded that I was alive because of the American people and their generosity and compassion. And I'm so grateful that I can use my life to remind people of the indispensable contribution refugees and their families make to our communities. And I've been thinking a lot lately about the concept of bonus days. My friend Skip introduced me to bonus days after he was diagnosed with a terminal illness, that every day after a serious diagnosis is a bonus day. He had 90 bonus days. I'm so grateful that I can go on social media and see Harry, my recipient, celebrating so many, bonus days, day after day. The normal days are my favorite. Harry having dinner with his wife, celebrating birthdays, and playing Pictionary. But bonus days don't just happen because of generous organ donors and their families. They happen because of good healthcare and workplace policies. They happen because of pre-existing condition protections, because yes, organ donation is a pre-existing condition. When I made the decision to donate a kidney, I worked for a union, and my boss told me to take as much time off as I needed, and that I wouldn't lose a day of pay, and that made all the difference. Anyone who knows me knew I was gonna tie unions into this somehow. My union brothers and sisters, some of them are here. Unions fight for the workplace conditions donors and recipients need. I'm proud that my union, AFSCME Council 66, just last year, wrote the first in New York State local union contract that included time off for blood, platelet, and organ donation in Niskayuna, New York. It was then followed just a few months ago in Plattsburgh, and we're gonna keep going until every contract includes a Donate Life benefit. By midnight tonight, over 20 people across this nation will have died waiting for a needed organ. I desperately need your collective courage and your voice to ensure we have many more bonus days for many more people and so much less heartbreaking, preventable loss. Please donate life. Thank you.
Oops, I think I left mine. It's hard to go on with a meeting after such a presentation. But we will, and we do, and now we will move to the open forum portion of our meeting. As I mentioned earlier, the open forum is an opportunity to address the town board concerning any matter relating to the town, whether or not it's an item on our agenda this evening. We do have one public hearing on the agenda that'll be actually coming up very shortly after the open forum, relating to the proposed removal of various street trees in the town. And if you would like your remarks included on the record of that public hearing, I would encourage you to wait until we call the public hearing. Then you'll have an opportunity to speak and have your remarks included in the record. Again, as I mentioned, if you're here in person, you can simply raise your hand. You'll be called upon, and I would ask you to come to the podium. Please, if you would, state your name and address if you would like to. If you are participating in the meeting remotely and you wish to speak either in the open forum or to the public hearing, please join the meeting in Zoom, and then you'll be use the raised hand function on Zoom, and you'll be called on again, have the opportunity to speak. I ask again, anyone who speaks during the open forum, either in person or remotely, to please state your name and address if you would. Please limit your remarks to 3 minutes, and I'll give you a 30-second warning before your time expires. We may not be able to answer your questions if it is a question that you have, particularly if that question relates to a matter that's not on tonight's agenda. But our goal tonight and always during the open forum is to give you, the public, the opportunity to share your thoughts with the board, and for us to be able to listen to your words. So please direct any remarks to the town board and not to the room or other speakers. Please refrain from personal attacks or from outbursts of any kind during the open forum, out of respect for the speakers and out of respect for the time of everyone here tonight. So is there anyone here in the room that would like to speak during the open forum? Judy.
I do have a question that I think you can answer, but I'll start by saying that I've read our utility meters probably for 40, 45 years. And you may be aware that our G&E has come up with a new little thing of putting these smart meters on, which is, I still have questions about that. I'm very skeptical. But the point is that you can keep reading your own meter. However, you are penalized $11.25 every month for doing that. So I'm turning, can I ask how many of you might read your own meters, just out of curiosity? Okay, good. Okay, so here's my point. I know we've had problems with our G&E, and I was wondering whether there's been any word from other municipalities or the city or even County Ledge about this issue, and is there a possibility of supervisors, mayor, and the county exec coming together and saying, you know, okay, go along with the new meters, but you don't feel that people should be penalized for reading their own meters? There was no meeting, to my knowledge, about this plan. I might have missed it, but I didn't know if there was a town meeting or anything for this new plan. And I just don't think it's fair. I really don't. I mean, we're not taking a job away from anybody, really. I mean, I think with this new plan, maybe more, they're doing, getting rid of more jobs on their own, I'm not sure. But it really bothers me. It really does. I just don't think it's a fair thing. So I hope you might consider it. I don't know if there's a time limit. They've just started in a couple of towns, I think, so far. They haven't, Greece, and I think there was another one, I'm not sure. But I just wondered if you might consider looking into this and seeing if this is something, that could be done. I don't think it's a hard thing. They might not want to, but I don't think it's a hard thing to accomplish, so I thank you.
A couple of thoughts on that. One, RG&E did hold an information meeting on smart meters here last fall. I don't remember exactly when it was, and I know they have held similar meetings in at least a couple of other municipalities in the area. They have begun the process of rolling out the smart meters. I am not a utility law expert, but it is my understanding that that charge, I believe, is regulated by the Department of Public Service. Someone correct me if they know that I'm not correct, but I believe then that that's something done, the approval for doing that was done at the regulatory level. I believe, and again, please correct me if I'm not correct, by the state agency in Albany.
Because it's interesting, I didn't have this charge all these years, and I was reading my own, but I guess it's the change in the meter.
It would be a change, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, thank you for listening.
If I learn otherwise, Judy, I'll let you know.
Okay, thanks for listening.
But since we're talking about RG&E, I've certainly come out in the strongest terms,
Right.
made the Public Service Commission aware when they had their rate hearing here of the concerns we've had with RG&E, my own opposition to their request for a rate increase. I don't think they earned it. We objected and testified against their last one, and things have only gone downhill since then. So
There was a letter to the editor, I think a week ago Sunday, from someone from the union or whatever, and talked about all the negatives of having a public utility and how it would be more work and this and that and so on. But of course, he was supportive of, the privately held one, so.
And the one other thing I will say in the meantime, and Bridget has done this for probably close to 200 households now. If people are, and there are still bills coming out with errors in them, or people not getting bills, or if you get a bill because customer service has been a challenge, they've dramatically reduced, and I get it, COVID and employment and everything else, but the bottom line is they're at the present, not providing adequate customer service to us, their customers. If you get a bill, one of these $1,000, $2,000, $5,000 bills that we've all heard about, call my office, Bridget Monroe, at 784-5252, has been working directly with RG&E in resolving and getting information on.
Well, that was one of the reasons why I brought it up, because I knew you had been, so thank you.
But thank you, Judy. Is there anyone else that would like to address the board during the open forum? And again, if there's anyone wishing to address the board on the public hearing on trees, we'll be getting to that momentarily. And is there anyone on Zoom that would like to address the board during the open forum?
Bill, if there is no one, I move to approve the agenda.
Can I have a second? Thank you, Robin. Motion by Chris, seconded by Robin. Any discussion? Hearing none, Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DePonzio.
Aye.
Councilmember Werner.
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt.
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado.
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy.
Aye. Yes, so we do have now our public hearing on the removal of a number of trees. Those are, and these are all in the highway or the street right-of-way. A 46-inch silver maple at 1393 Clover Street on Rowland Parkway. A 52-inch silver maple at 90 Maywood. A 45-inch silver maple at 43 Model Lane. Another 45-inch silver maple at 72 North Landing Road. A 32-inch locust at 120 Glen Ellen Way. A 30-inch sugar maple at 220 Thackeray Road, and a 37-inch sugar maple at 195 Wilshire Road. And I'll ask the town clerk, has the necessary legal notice been given on this public hearing?
Yes, Supervisor, it was published in the March 27th edition of the Daily Record.
Thank you very much. And has notice also been given to adjoining property owners as required under the town's tree law?
Yes, Supervisor, it has.
Thank you, Everett. Notice having been given, I declare this public hearing being held under the town tree law to be open. I gave the addresses of the trees, but you have copies of reports and photos and the like on the trees. Everett or Ken, is there anything you would like to add as it relates to these trees?
Yeah, I'd like to add a comment that I received from the owner of 120 Glen Ellen, who was not comfortable speaking. She was in support of taking the tree down. She wanted to convey that to the board. She just wanted to make sure that a tree could be replaced quickly, soon after. And I told her I would work with her offline to give her a list of trees available, and we can get a new tree planted.
Good. Okay. I know the public hearing isn't open yet. Oh, it is. Okay. Yes, it is. You're right. It is, of course. All right. So that will be a portion of the public hearing. Good. Then let me ask if there is anyone here in the room that would like to speak. Yes, sir. Come on up.
My name is Ralph Manchester. I live at 195 Wilshire Road with my wife, Cindy Christie, who's here tonight as well. We are in favor of the tree in front of our house being taken down. We actually contacted the town office a few times asking when it would come to that point. The tree is doing a remarkable service supporting the local woodpecker population. But it is becoming somewhat of an eyesore and suggests that maybe we're not taking care of things as well as we should. Of historical note, it was planted right after the ice storm when a tree very nearby was claimed by the ice, and we would also appreciate it if a replacement tree can be planted there. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to address the board concerning this public hearing? Yes, sir. Come on up.
Good evening. I'm David Freeman at 90 Maywood Drive, and my wife Yosef is here with me this evening. Not that it's a competition, but I do want to point out ours is the largest at 52 inches. So if you come to my house next week, you'll see construction starting because the windstorm we had recently caused another tree in my yard to fall, doing over $50,000 worth of damage to my home. I've got a hole in my roof that's been there for over a couple months, and so I'm very pleased that the town is taking up the effort to look at and remove this large silver maple in my front yard. I've read the tree hazard assessment report that clearly shows the problems with the tree and recommends its removal, and I really appreciate the town taking the action. Seems like we've had a lot of wind lately, and I do not need another tree coming down on my house. I do have some questions regarding planting of another tree, and not just removal of the tree, but grinding of the stump, and also removal of the roots that permeate the lawn that might cause a problem if they're not also removed, and also whether or not planting a new tree would be problematic with the roots not removed. But other than that, I fully favor having this tree removed, and I look forward to it being done, and I thank the town for taking a look at it.
Thank you, Mr. Freeman. Everett, I don't know if you want to speak separately with Mr. Freeman, or if you can answer his questions about grinding and root removal.
Yeah, I have to look into it, but I don't believe that we take out the roots. We do take the tree down and stump out.
I'm talking about exposed roots, to
Okay.
be clear. And they're in the pictures of the report.
Yeah, I see them. Okay, I'll get back to you. I'll speak with you offline.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to address the board on this public hearing? I will say that I also received a communication. Let me pull it up here. This is from Randy Haskell, who lives at 84 North Landing, but she's also sharing communication written by Charles and Daria Bauer, B-O-U-R, at 72 Landing Road North. The gist of the communication from the Bauers was to describe the windstorm that took a large portion of the silver maple in front of their house. That was back on December 23rd, 2022, and describing the fact that the tree, as it came down, nearly hit their neighbor who resides at 84 Landing Road North, who was getting into her car. That was Ms. Randy, R-A-N-D-I, Haskell. And so they have both communicated to me requesting and indicating their support for the removal of the rest of the tree. Is there anyone else, and again, that's the tree at 72 North Landing. Is there anyone else that would like to address the board concerning any of these trees being removed? And I see no one on the Zoom. Is anyone, any comments from members of the board or from staff that you'd like to have as part of the record of the hearing? Hearing none, then I declare this public hearing to be closed. And Councilmember Corrado, you have, we all have a proposed resolution, if you would make it, please.
Yes, we do. Let me just page back up to it. All those pictures of the trees in various states of decay and woodpecker residences. Does anyone make plans for where the woodpeckers are going to go? Because I think most of them come to my chimney.
That's your wake-up
I can tell you a lot of them go out to the Brickyard Trail.
That is an appropriate place for them to go. All right. I move that regarding the removal of town trees consisting of one 46-inch silver maple at 1393 Clover Street on Roland Parkway, one 52-inch silver maple at 90 Maywood Drive, one 45-inch silver maple at 43 Model Lane, one 45-inch silver maple at 72 North Landing Road, one 32-inch locust at 120 Glen Ellen Way, one 30-inch sugar maple at 220 Thackeray Road, and one 37-inch sugar maple at 195 Wilshire Road. I move that we adopt the resolution before us.
Second.
Any discussion from the board? Hearing none, Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DePonzio?
Aye.
Councilmember Werner?
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt?
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado?
Aye.
Supervisor Mailing.
Aye. We have no additional communications, so we'll move right to committee reports. Robin, Community Services Committee.
Thank you, Bill.
And thank you all for coming tonight.
The Community Services Committee has not met in the intervening time frame since the last town board meeting. I do have a few quick updates from our Parks and Recreation Department heads. From our Parks Department, equipment and facilities have been prepped for spring operation. Seasonal laborers will begin shifts in April and May. Park supplies are being inventoried and ordered. Mowing bids were opened on March 22nd, and contracts awarded at both our last town board meeting and this town board meeting. The goal is to begin mowing toward the end of April, weather permitting, and winterized facilities should be able to open by the first week of May, barring any setbacks. From our Recreation Department, our bunny hop will take place Friday, April 14th from 6:30 to 8 p.m. at the Brookside Recreation Center. This is an event of family fun, music, activities, and more. The cost is $10 per family, and registration is required. We hope to see you there.
And I believe a big bunny.
Yes, and a big bunny. Some upcoming programs of interest within our recreation department include preschool programs, water exercise, dog training, Make the Best Cooking series, Tai Chi, April break camps, gardening with a pro, and much more. I also want to highlight some of our upcoming events at the town level. Our Brighton Farmers Outdoor Season opening will be at the Brighton High School parking lot on Winter Road this Sunday, April 15th, from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. We hope to see everybody back out. The DEA National Pharmaceutical Take Back event will occur at the Brighton Town Hall Public Safety Wing, 2300 Elmwood Avenue, on Saturday, April 22nd from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Our Arbor Day celebration is upcoming on Saturday, April 29th at 10 a.m. And our Brighton Clean Sweep it will be in full swing again this year at Brighton Town Hall, 2300 Elmwood Avenue on Saturday, May 13th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. with our final celebration being at French Road Elementary School. Registration is now open for the event. I thank all of the scout troops that have been in contact, and we look forward to hosting a large event this year. And then finally, our semi-annual electronics recycling and secure document shredding event will take place at the Brighton Highway Department parking lot, 1941 Elmwood Avenue, on Sunday, May 21st from 9 a.m. to 12 noon. The next meeting of the Community Services Committee will be next Wednesday, April 19th at 9:30 a.m. or immediately following our Finance and Administrative Services Committee meeting at the Brookside Recreation Center multipurpose room. Please access the Recreation Department through the Winton Road entrance. As always, members of the public are invited and encouraged to attend.
Thanks, Robin. Finance Committee, Jason?
Yes, the Finance Committee met last Wednesday. That was April 5th, and each of the items that were discussed in committee appear on tonight's town board agenda and will be discussed and voted on. In addition, the Finance Committee discussed the Town Hall building and HVAC renovation plans. Commissioner Garcia updated the Finance Committee with the current status of the renovation plan for Town Hall. The Town Sustainability Oversight Committee has made recommendations for including green energy in the plan, especially the potential of a geothermal heating cooling system. Everett will contact InX Architecture to provide a design and cost estimate for further review of installing this type of system. Items to be included in the review would be cost, energy savings, payback period, carbon reduction, and other details related to installing this type of system. Our next meeting will take place next Wednesday, April 19th. We meet at 8:30 in the morning here in the main auditorium of Town Hall, and the public is invited to attend.
Thank you, Jason. Public Safety, Chris?
Thanks, Bill. We had our Public Safety Committee meeting for April yesterday. We had reports from the various providers. First, Brighton Ambulance. They had a total of 716 requests for services throughout the month of March, with a total of 588 being within the Brighton Ambulance District and 267 Brighton residents receiving services. A total of 128 requests for mutual aid were received, of which they were able to respond to 37 calls. The request for service up to April 1st is 2,050, which is an increase of 2.8% from the 2022 volume. Collaborative meetings with the regional agency leaders is ongoing. Brighton Fire Department had 673 calls year to date, and they had 1 CPR save on Gleason Circle, and we congratulate them on that. 2 new career firefighters are starting April 17, and there's a new volunteer information session on April 17th at Station 1 at 7 o'clock p.m. Department of Public Works reported that they started leaf and lawn debris pickup services on April 10th, and they're about to begin their 4 10-hour-a-day work schedule starting on the 17th. Also, they continue with their lawn damage repair program after the winter plowing season. If anybody has damage to their lawn as a result of the plowing this year, which there wasn't too much plowing, so that's good, please contact the department and they'll send a crew out and repair your lawn. They do anticipate chip seals projects to begin in May, and that schedule will be posted on the town website. Also, the leaf and lawn debris pickup schedule will be on the website as well. Is that correct?
That is correct. It's actually on there as we speak. Yeah.
That's terrific. Thank you. Brighton Police calls for service to the end of March, 12,352. April 3rd through April 10th, they just came off of the You Text, You Drive, You Pay initiative and issued 97 tickets. Folks, that is a very dangerous thing to do. Texting while you're driving, speaking on the phone while you're driving as well. I have read and seen programs that say this the equivalent of driving drunk in terms of its impact on your ability to drive. I'm sure Deputy Chief Dessain would echo that. Also, on April 4th, the department received a grant to purchase an ATV, which will help our response to off-road accidents and such. Also, the New York State Department of Agriculture and Markets did an unannounced inspection at our kennel, which we passed without objection. On today, there was the Whole Foods grand opening, and the police department turned out to help with coordinating, with traffic, and also coordinated with staff there with their security services. Chief Dessain, how did that go today?
Very well, without incident. Traffic flow moved as expected in there. We did reach our maximum capacity at one point, but I think overall the delays were minor, and with the amount of people, I don't know what the exact numbers were, but several hundred at one time coming in there, but it went well, and we were pleased. I think Whole Foods Corporation, along with the Daniele family, were happy as well.
Great, and thanks for your help over there. There is a new officer coming on to our force on April 24th, McKaylee Kroll. And May 10th, we'll be processing a candidate for the May Police Academy as well. Henrietta Fire District responded to 239 calls in West Brighton through March 31st. They have a new engine, number 675 at the West Brighton station, which will go in service this Saturday. And also they have a new rescue engine for their Station 4, which will be delivered and in service around May 1st. And they're beginning community CPR classes. They began them starting April 10th. We continue to pursue response from the county regarding pedestrian and turn signals along Monroe Avenue at various intersections, and Commissioner Garcia will pursue that further with the county. Also, the town is continuing to look at town-wide town road speed reduction to 25 miles an hour, and the contract for that study is out for signature, and we hope to have that project started soon. That concluded our meeting, and the next meeting will be Tuesday, May 9 at 0800 hours. The public is invited.
Thank you, Chris. And finally, Public Works. Christine.
Public Works met yesterday morning on the heels, well, a half hour after the conclusion of the Public Safety Committee meeting, a very efficient meeting at 0800 hours. We met at 9 a.m. and heard an update on the Town Hall study. INX Architecture completed a study of Town Hall that resulted in the development of a priority project. You heard a little bit about this from Councilmember DePonzio earlier. The study included 5 alternative projects that could be incorporated into the priority project if funding becomes available. Subsequent to reviewing the study, the town's Sustainability Oversight Committee requested that the town consider and evaluate clean heating and cooling solutions as part of the proposal from INX and the rest of their design team to provide the town with an evaluation of clean heating and cooling solutions for the HVAC portion of the project. The final scope of the Town Hall project will be selected after reviewing the additional HVAC evaluation by INX. We also heard an update on the Home Acres entry monuments. Town staff presented a report by Barrow Architecture at the February Public Works Committee meeting regarding the condition of the Home Acres entry monuments. The report included estimates to repair the entry monuments and anticipated maintenance costs. The total cost to complete repairs to the entry monuments is estimated to be $175,600. plus $3,300 for vegetation control. The report estimates an annual maintenance cost of $1,200 with a cost of $6,400 to repoint the mortar joints every 5 years. The Homemakers Neighborhood Improvement District will fund these improvements provided the project proceeds. 2 options are available to fund the improvements. One is the consideration of bond issuance, which would spread out the cost to the district over 15 years. The second would be to charge the district higher annual fees to cover the capital costs in 5 years without issuing bonds. The next steps are for town staff to review the funding options with the finance department staff to finalize the anticipated annual district charge per parcel to cover the costs of repair and maintenance of the entry monuments under each repayment option. Subsequently, town staff will coordinate a public meeting with the neighborhood to present the findings before proceeding with the project. RG&E. We received an update on the RG&E owned Cobra Head Streetlight LED conversion program. Town staff provided a recap of a presentation of the RG&E LED street lighting program. As a part of the program, RG&E will convert existing Cobra Head streetlights to LED lights and still maintain ownership of the street lighting system, while the town realizes savings in energy use. As part of the replacement project, the town would have to pay the unexpired life costs for the existing lighting infrastructure, and the unexpired life cost to convert the RG&E owned Cobra Heads in the town is $25,837.62. Because some of the Cobra Heads are located within lighting districts, the project costs would have to be split by each district containing Cobra Heads. The Public Works Committee is still interested in pursuing this project, and Department of Public Works staff will work with the Finance Department staff on this to present the project for consideration at the next Finance Committee meeting. Matter of installation of RRFBs, or rectangular reflecting flashing beacons.
Rapid flashing
beacons. Darn it. I know what they are when I see them.
And you stop.
And I stop if I'm in my car, or I start them if I'm on my bike.
I used one this morning
As did I.
in the traffic stop.
Yeah.
Good.
Everyone's learning. So that was a matter of discussion in Public Works. Residents are seeking installation of the RRFBs at the crosswalk on Westfall at Evans Lane and the crosswalk at Penfield Road at Corbett's Glen.
And there may be others.
And others, possibly, yes. And so the committee reviewed the Monroe County Department of Transportation's minimum criteria for allowing the installation of RRFBs on county roads. The engineering study component of the criteria is extensive and adds complexity to potential projects. Town staff will be reaching out to MCDOT representatives to determine if county guidelines for conducting engineering studies have been updated since 2018, given that RRFBs are now more common throughout the region. Additionally, the committee would like to identify all potential locations where RRFBs should be considered throughout Brighton. Town staff will develop and present a map to the committee in May that identifies all potential crossings along with their respective MCDOT implementation category. So we're making progress there. In new business, we received an update on clean heating and cooling at Carmen Clark Lodge. The town has qualified for and will be receiving a $10,000 grant from the NYSERDA Clean Energy Community Program. Town staff have identified a project which is supported by the Sustainability Oversight Committee that could benefit from these funds. The project involves the replacement of an oil firing furnace at the Carmen Clark Lodge that is outdated, inefficient, and in need of maintenance with an air-sourced heat pump. The replacement would be an air-sourced heat pump. Town staff obtained price quotes from 3 vendors to perform this work, and the lowest price quote received for installing this heat pump at the lodge is $11,800. The vendor also recommended that the insulation, let me start that again. The vendor also recommended that insulation be installed along the lodge sill plate as part of the project to maximize energy savings as part of the improvements. And the quote to perform the insulation work is $1,900. As part of the DPW staff's research into the heat pump proposal, it was discovered that RG&E was incorrectly billing the town, imagine that, a demand charge that was not appropriate for the Brighton Town Park site. As a result, RG&E will be refunding the town for these overages, which can be used to offset the cost of this project that is not covered by the $10,000 grant. And the Public Works Committee is very supportive of this project and would like to move forward with the installation of both the air-sourced heat pump and the foundation insulation work. So good work finding the miscalculations. It's not easy to keep tabs on those. Last, the committee spoke about the West Henrietta Road traffic light timing. Residents on Southland and Doncaster expressed concerns regarding the timing of the traffic lights at those intersections on West Henrietta Road, specifically that it appears to be taking longer to cycle through to allow traffic to leave those streets and enter West Henrietta Road. Town staff has reached out to the New York State DOT regional traffic engineers to request information regarding any changes which may have recently been made to the intersections in question, and we hope to hear back from them soon, perhaps in time for the next meeting, which will be May 9th at 9 a.m. or later if public safety is not as speedy next month as it was this. But we appreciated the back-to-back meetings.
Thank you, Thank you, Christine. Before we move on to new business, Chief Dessain mentioned the Whole Foods opening this morning. I'd just like to say a little bit more because it was really a very exciting day. It's an exciting day for the Brighton community. I was there. I know the entire town board was there this morning. No small part was it a smooth operation, and certainly what I saw, Chief, I concur with your assessment, and that really is the result of some good planning by the Brighton Police Department, working with town staff, working with the developer and the Whole Foods management. It sure felt to me in the several hours that I was there that it really all went off without a hitch. You know, today, yes, for folks that drove through the area, and no doubt for several more days, you may experience more traffic than you're used to in the area. But again, I think it was handled well, and I want to, you know, just reiterate that the traffic in that area was studied very carefully as part of the environmental review of the Whole Foods project. That study determined that incremental traffic delays at rush hour, at peak times, caused by the Whole Foods store might be, well, it would be less than an additional minute in duration. I can certainly tell you what I saw today were crowds of people. The line was long to get in, although that was well managed too, and I think everybody got in within about 15 minutes. People were excited to see the new store. I talked to at least half a dozen people who had moved here to the Rochester area from other major cities that already have Whole Foods in the market. I talked to someone from the San Jose, California area, someone from Atlanta, someone from Chicago, from Austin, from New York City, from Boston, all of whom were at our store in Rochester and all of whom had moved to the Rochester area. And that was great to hear, by the way, just hearing folks moving into the area. But these folks had moved in anywhere from like the 18 months to 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. And they were really pleased to be able to shop again at Whole Foods. So I congratulate you, and please share, you know, our thanks to the rest of your staff that was there today. I congratulate the Whole Foods team that put together a great event. They don't do ribbon cuttings at Whole Foods. What they do is they gather their entire team together for a bread breaking. So we had a ceremonial bread breaking at 6:30 this morning, right in the front of the store. It was really something to see, and they've got 128 people working at the store now, and most of them were there today. You know, that's one of the many benefits. I've talked a lot about why the opening of this store is important for the community. 128 new jobs is pretty darn important for this community. $400,000 in commercial property tax revenue is pretty important for this community. The completion of the Auburn Trail is pretty darn important for this community. And when you get in the store, you'll see the selection, the variety, the beautiful, that display of mangoes was calling my name all morning. It's really, it's wonderful to see. So congratulations to the Whole Foods team, and thank you especially to our town staff, including you know, Everett and Mike, including Ramsey and Mike, who are retired from the time that the project began. But you all, Everett and team, worked very hard to make this happen. Town Attorney Ken Gordon, extraordinary work by you, and our volunteer board members, our planning board, our zoning board members in particular, who spent a lot of time reviewing this project. Kudos to all of you. Thank you very much. We'll continue now with new business. Jason, can I have a motion on the reading and approval of claims?
Yes, Bill. Earlier today, I reviewed claims totaling $618,136.65. Notable claims include to Insight Architecture, in the amount of $10,168.75, representing payment for design and construction services for Phase 3 of the Farmers Market. Also to Building Innovation Group in the amount of $195,652.50, representing payment for general contracting services for Phase 3 of the Farmers Market. Also to Johnson Controls Fire Protection in the amount of $4,467.73, representing payment for fire systems inspections, alarm monitoring and repairs at the Farmhouse Market and Buckland Concession. Also to Genesee Valley Ford in the amount of $30,600, representing payment for a 2022 Ford F-250 truck for the Parks Department. And finally to Sherwin-Williams Company in the amount of $3,100 $171, representing payment for a field paint sprayer for the Parks Department. The claims all appear to be in order, and I move that they be approved.
Second.
Thank you both. Any discussion on those? You know, as always, I think it's, I just want to remind everybody, all of the detail, Jason highlighted several of the major claims, but all of that detail is available with this matter on our agenda that you can review online. Is there any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DePonzio.
Aye.
Councilmember Werner.
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt.
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado.
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy.
Aye. Robin, the next one, please.
Certainly. The next matter seeks to award a mowing contract A to Advanced Property Contractors and to authorize the supervisor to enter into a fee-based contract with said business for mowing services effective April 1, 2023 through March 31, 2024. I move that we adopt the resolution as prepared by the town attorney.
Second.
This contract, and we've done a couple of these mowing contracts for the upcoming year. This one primarily relates to some of our major town parks. Any discussion? Hearing none, Dan, please call. Oh, sorry,
Just to
Ken.
note one short thing. The resolution not only authorizes this year's contract, but also authorizes the supervisor to renew this contract for up to 3 one-year consecutive periods at the same price.
Thanks. Good, important point, and good fiscal contract management. Thank you. Now, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll.
Councilmember DePonzio.
Aye.
Councilmember Werner.
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt.
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado.
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy.
Aye. Christine, if you do the next one, please.
Yes, the next matter seeks to authorize the solicitation of request for proposals for an asbestos survey and abatement services related to the demolition of 59 Hampshire Drive. I move that we adopt the resolution before us.
Second.
This is a property that we've been dealing with for some time. There are a number of issues relating to the property that may give rise to the need to demolish it. Our Public Works Department has been working pretty consistently with the owner of the property for several months. However, more recently, the progress has not been what it was at first, and therefore this is one of the steps that we need to take in anticipation that we may need to demolish the property ourselves, in which case we'd charge back that cost to the owner on their tax bill. So this is a request because we do anticipate there may be asbestos in the house based on its age. This is an opportunity to determine the extent of that and what it might cost to abate it. Anything else, Everett, to add to that, or Ken?
No, I mean, I think you outlined it perfectly.
Just want to clarify, you as a board have already determined and ordered that this property be demolished.
Okay.
That is a fait accompli.
Yep.
What we're now doing is taking the steps that we need to take as a town, excuse me, to proceed with that actual demolition. And the first step is to hire a consultant to survey the property for asbestos, and also, if asbestos is found, abate that asbestos before the property is demolished. I will be a little bit harsher than Supervisor Mealy was. The owner, although starting out back in October of last year, yes, that's nearly a half a year ago, made some progress clearing out some debris from the property, but has been, frankly, not responsive in recent weeks and months to efforts by former Commissioner Guyon and more recently myself in asking for some progress and progress information. So it's a dangerous situation that I believe you as a board have already decided needs to be resolved, and this is our next step.
Thanks, Ken. You know, it's interesting. I saw on one of the news channels last night someone in another jurisdiction where there was discussion about demolishing a house or putting it on the, tax foreclosure roll. I think the difference here from that situation is the owner of this property is very well aware, A, of the defects in the house, B, that the town board has voted that demolition is going to be necessary, and unfortunately, that's the road it looks like we're going down. We have a motion seconded on that. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DePonzio?
Aye.
Councilmember Werner?
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt?
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado?
Aye.
Supervisor Manley?
Aye. Christine, the next item, please.
I am very excited to seek to read out this proposal to authorize the solicitation of request for proposals for preparation of a master plan for the Rochester Multiversity Concept. And I move that we adopt the resolution before us.
Second.
This is a project we've talked about in the past that would be grant funded, but it's a project to improve the trail connections among the University of Rochester, Rochester Institute of Technology, and Monroe Community College. We've got a leg up on the project by virtue of the fact that we have the Lehigh Valley Trail and we have the Erie Canal Trail running in that general vicinity. And a large part of what we're looking at is making sure that the connections to the three educational institutions are enhanced. We're going to be working with those with RIT, U of R, and MCC, as well as with the neighbors in West Brighton, where the trail runs through, and this will begin that process of preparing an actual master plan. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we have a motion on the floor. Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DePonzio?
Aye.
Councilmember Werner?
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt?
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado?
Aye.
Supervisor Manley?
Aye. Chris, the next one, please.
Bill, the next one is to authorize the acceptance of a grant award from Firehouse Subs Public Safety Foundation of one all-terrain vehicle. I move that we adopt the resolution before us.
Second.
Chief, do you want to
Yeah, this was...
share the good news on this?
Sure, it was exciting to find this out. Captain Caraballo, some time ago, applied for this grant through Firehouse Subs. We were notified at the beginning of the month that we're going to receive it, and we're excited about it. We think it's time for this. It's at no cost to the taxpayers. Our purpose would be used for off-road, the trail system, as you mentioned. 4th of July, we've already had a few incidents on our trails in the past few years where it would have been effective for us. We've reached out to the fire department, and I think you'll find that it'll be a dual purpose for them as well, because they do not have one. So we're the first to kind of get that, before them, and we're excited about it. So, thank you.
Thank you. Ken?
I just want to make sure that the board has before it the latest version of the resolution. It was revised late this afternoon. The version that you should have, and I have it up on my computer screen. I know that, Dan, it was forwarded to you as well late this afternoon, provides actually for an acceptance of the amount of $17,299.29 to purchase an all-terrain vehicle and to authorize the supervisor to execute documents in connection therewith, rather than the actual donation of the vehicle itself.
I know I got that updated resolution, and that's the resolution that Christine's motion should be deemed to.
Chris's.
Chris's, yes. CC as wrote instead of CW. Got it. Okay. Thanks, Ken. Any further discussion on that matter? Hearing none, Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DePonzio?
Aye.
Councilmember Werner?
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt?
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado?
Aye.
Supervisor Manley?
Aye. Chris, why don't you do the next one as well?
Yes, the next item is to authorize the supervisor to enter into an agreement with the New York State Department of Homeland Security for a reimbursement grant for personnel costs associated with participating in security assessments and exercises. I move that we adopt the resolution before us.
Second.
I think I heard Jason first. As you'll see in the supporting correspondence, the Brighton Police Department has participated in Homeland Security assessments and exercises, and this will reimburse the cost of doing so. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on this? Hearing none, Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DeFazio?
Aye.
Councilmember Werner?
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt?
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado?
Aye.
Supervisor Mailer?
Aye. The 4th of July will be here before we know it, and as always, we're going to have a great celebration this year. So, Robin, I'll ask you, we've got 2 4th of July related resolutions tonight. And
My pleasure. Felt like 4th of July today. It was pretty warm. The next matter seeks to authorize the supervisor to enter into an agreement with the Sky Coasters for musical performance at the July 4th celebration in an amount not to exceed $3,800. I move that we adopt the resolution as prepared by the town attorney.
Second.
I think I heard them very close. I'm going to give it to Chris Werner. Discussion. Hearing none. Great to have the Sky Coasters back. Dan, please call the roll on this motion.
Councilmember DeFazio?
Aye.
Councilmember Werner?
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt?
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado?
Aye.
Supervisor Mailer?
Aye. And what would the 4th be without fireworks?
That's right. And the next matter seeks to authorize the supervisor to enter into an agreement with Young Explosives for fireworks at the July 4th celebration in an amount not to exceed $16,500. I move that we adopt the resolution as prepared by the town attorney.
Second.
And in talking to Matt, this is going to be a bigger and better than ever fireworks display this year. And so everybody mark that on your calendars. It's going to be a fun night out at Meridian, as it always is. Any discussion on this motion?
I just wanted to mention that Matt did benchmark with other communities, and so, we want to make sure that our display is up to the caliber of other neighboring communities, and they provide excitement for the community, and we're very excited to, increase the budget a little bit so that we can get some bang for the buck.
Oh, that's a good one. Okay.
You can get away with it, it's your birthday.
Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DeFazio?
Aye.
Councilmember Werner?
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt?
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado?
Aye.
Supervisor Mailer?
Aye. Chris?
Next item is to approve the appointment of McKaylee R. Kroll as a police officer. I move that we adopt the resolution before us.
Second.
And we mentioned this earlier, but Chief, if you'd like to talk a little bit about soon-to-be Officer McKaylee Kroll?
Yes, Officer Kroll is a lateral transfer from the Village of Perry Police Department. I believe that's Wyoming County.
Is that in New York State?
Yes. She passed all pre-employment conditions. She was interviewed by our civilian interview panel. She was well received. She has 3.5 years as an officer with the Village of Perry. She holds a bachelor's degree in criminal justice and a sociology degree as well from Alfred University. So we're looking forward to having her start with us and to complete about a 10-week field training period.
And that start date is April 22nd.
Yes.
Any questions, any comments? Hearing none, Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DeFazio?
Aye.
Councilmember Werner?
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt?
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado?
Aye.
Supervisor Mailer?
Aye. And Chris, civilian hire in the department, promotion.
The next item is to approve the promotion of Jackie Pike to Office Clerk 2 in the Police Department. I move that we adopt the resolution before us.
Second.
And again, Chief?
Sure. This is the result of Karen Kelly leaving for employment elsewhere. Mrs. Pike has 12 years with the town of Brighton. So she's been around a while. She is an asset to our organization. She'll be moving over to the chief's office as secretary.
Any discussion? Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DeFazio?
Aye.
Councilmember Werner?
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt?
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado?
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy?
Aye. Robin?
Certainly. The next matter seeks to approve the appointment of Kathleen Roman as part-time permanent office clerk 3 in the Recreation Department, effective April 24, 2023. I move that we adopt the resolution as prepared by the town attorney.
Second.
Any discussion on this appointment? Hearing none, Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DeFazio?
Aye.
Councilmember Werner?
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt?
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado?
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy?
Aye. Jason?
Yes, the next matter seeks to amend the Finance Department's Table of Organization to add the position of Senior Office Account Clerk and promote Jennifer Staudenmeyer to said position. I move we adopt the resolution as prepared by the town attorney.
Second.
And Jennifer passed the civil service exam.
She did.
She's
and
been with us, and
yes, and this is going to get us back to our original plan. When we added, we went back to our model last year, due to some, Suzanne announcing a tentative retirement date. So we've gone back to a senior payroll, senior account clerk. So this accomplishes that goal.
great. Any questions, any comments? Thanks, Paula. Then Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DeFazio?
Aye.
Councilmember Werner?
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt?
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado?
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy?
Aye. And Jason, why don't you handle the next one, too?
Yes, the next matter seeks to authorize the disposal of certain highway department equipment through either Enterprise Fleet or Roy Teetsworth's in-person and/or online auction. I move we adopt the resolution as prepared by the town attorney.
Second.
Just one correction on the actual resolution as drafted as compared to the caption in your agenda. Actually, it authorizes generically the disposition of the vehicles pursuant to any online or live auction. And just so you know, for information purposes, the enterprise process, we just started this leasing arrangement with Enterprise. If we selected to use Enterprise, we would turn it over to them and they would use a municipal auction. But just to give you, actually give the department as much breadth of choice as possible.
Good. Thanks. Thanks, Ken. Further discussion? Hearing none, Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DeFazio?
Aye.
Councilmember Werner?
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt?
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado?
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy?
Aye. Matters of the supervisor, we have both the January and the February 2023 expense and revenue reports. Paula, if you would, please.
These are to receive and file. It's early in the year. Next meeting, though, I'll have the first quarter report for you. So we'll look and see how we're doing through the end of March.
Perfect. Can I have a motion to receive and file those?
I move we receive and file the January and February 2023 expense and revenue reports.
Second.
Discussion? Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DeFazio?
Aye.
Councilmember Werner?
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt?
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado?
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy?
Aye. Matters of the town attorney.
Two matters that I'd like to discuss in executive session regarding the employment of particular people. That's all.
And do you want to discuss any litigation?
Yeah, I do have two matters of
I thought you
litigation
might.
I'd like to talk about. It's been a busy day, guys.
Yes, it has been a busy week. Thank you. We'll do that in just a moment. Matters of the town clerk.
Nothing this evening?
Matters of the town board. Then can I have a motion to go into executive session to discuss matters involving the employment of particular people and matters involving litigation? Can I have a
Move
motion?
that we go into executive session for those purposes.
Second.
Any discussion? Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DePoncio?
Aye.
Councilmember Werner?
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt?
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado?
Aye.
Supervisor Allen?
Aye. I do not anticipate that we'll be coming back out into open session after the executive session, so I want to thank our ASL interpreters, Heather and Allie. Our next town board meeting will be 2 weeks from tonight on April 26th. Thank you, everybody that has been here or that's watching remotely, and have a great evening. Good night, all.
Thank you.